Sunday at the season's first major championship. For 3 days, the best in the women's game, battling heat and a demanding golf course. For the chance to engage in a final round battle of nerves and will. It is a challenge she has met better than anyone in the sport over the last 2 years. Yanni Sen continuing her march at just 22 towards all-time greatness. But Stacey Lewis has shown no sign of giving ground, just as she never gave in to scoliosis as a child. And there's Morgan Pressel 4 years ago right here. She became at 18 the youngest woman to have ever won a major, now needing a huge back nine to make it happen again. With Michelle Wie looking to answer the question that has been asked since she played in the final group here as a 13-year-old. How good can she really be? One final push. The hope today, get your name from the top of the leaderboard to a place alongside the legends of the game on a bridge to LPGA history. Sunday at the season's first major, the Kraft Nabisco Championship. Yanni Sen has now pulled ahead by one. She began with a two-shot lead, but the birdie at 8. Lewis missing that good opportunity. Morgan Pressel with a triple bogey. She's been brilliant otherwise. Michelle Wie has had so many opportunities, but again, the putter has been the case so often in the past. The putter has let her down. Stanford looked good in the early going, birdied the first 3 out of the gates, but has cooled since then. Brittany Lincecum, a winner here in 2009. Here's your announced team. It is led by Terry Gannon, along with the World Golf Hall of Fame member Judy Rankin, Tom Abbott, Phil Parkin, Jane Crafter, and Jerry Foltz as well. Lots of golf still to go. We'll take you out to the 9th hole, the par 5. Here's the 3rd from Michelle Wie.
After punching out from underneath the trees on the left, this is from 98 yards.
Up the hill.
This par 5 and the 11th coming up, I think, will tell the tale for Michelle Wie, whether she can be a contender when they come down to the last par 5 on the golf course. 18.
Michelle Wie and Yanni Sen, the 2 longest by far off the tee this week, and Yanni's set to go.
Floating back straight downwind. Nice little drop to left center.
Par 5 that no one really has been able to go after in 2. The par 5 11th is back, but 18 today moved up and a real opportunity to reach into for a finish. Now the 3rd for Pressel.
Just for 55 yards.
Judy, you got to give her credit for coming back with a birdie after the triple bogey.
I do. It's hard to keep your composure. It's hard not to feel like that it's over. But she has kept fighting, and it's paying off.
Back on the tee, Stacey Lewis.
Going with 3-wood. That's a really aggressive line with 3-wood.
She took it over the trees.
Yeah, well, part of them.
Worked out. That's as good as you'll ever see at the 9th.
That's a good sign for her too, right? I mean, the aggressiveness is still very much a part of her game. She's not sitting back and just playing it safe.
Well, and she's more comfortable, she says, with the fade, with the shot that moves left to right. But she.
This is the ball of Michelle Wie, by the way, just off this green. It's been the putter that's let her down. Remember the 2-foot miss at 17 yesterday. 3 or 4 makeable putts slide by today. And a little extra challenge that time.
Yeah, I'm not sure it ended up being a factor in the putt, but
Michelle tied for 120th in terms of putting this year on the LPGA Tour. And now Morgan Pressel taking a long look.
And a super opportunity it is, Terry. Not a whole lot of break in this putt.
That gets her back to under par for the day with a triple bogey on the 6th hole.
And she just won't go away. One of the 8 players in the field when this championship started who know what it's like to win and then take the leap into Poppy's Pond. Shall we? The save for a par 5 for her, trying to come back. She can't settle for pars.
Michelle Wee's strength is the par 5s, and when she doesn't take advantage, she's really hurt.
Now you look back in the fairway, and Yanni Sen, Jerry, first to play.
Yeah, 270 from 292 hole. Wind helping from the left, but no chance of really getting this there. And yesterday she tried to get it as close as she could and ended up in a bad spot. That's a little left.
Looked like she went with the 3-wood again.
Yeah.
Yanni Sen, the youngest man or woman to win 3 major championships at the age of 22 now. Looking for her 4th. Now Stacey Lewis.
247 from 269 to the hole. She was really contemplating laying this up, it looked like, but it's almost just too close to do that. She can get it pretty close to the front edge.
Yeah, this is a serious maybe.
I think she just knew she had to take advantage of any opportunity she could. A little left. Not going to be a bad pitch from there, though.
Plenty of green for Stacey Lewis. Just one shot back on this final day in Rancho Mirage when the wind is starting to pick up. Today is the day someone gets to take that leap of a lifetime. Coming up, we get some of the players to share with us how they would jump into Poppy's Pond if they indeed want.
I would do like a round off flip flop, you know, back tuck into the water. No, I'm just kidding.
Morgan Pressa won this event back in 2007. Unfortunately, her mother was not there to share it with her. We'll share with you her bittersweet story when we come back. Stay with us. 1972, the first time that the Kraft Nabisco Championship was played. This, the 40th edition, has turned out to be a pretty good one. Coming down the stretch, Yanni Sen with a 1-shot lead. This, her 3rd at the par 5 9th.
Just 75 yards with a lofted wedge. Needs to take a seat.
And it did not.
Best news there is the ball's sitting up in the rough, but very firm green. You cannot afford to fly the ball anywhere near the hole.
That just a moment ago. Now Stacey Lewis just left of the fairway.
13 front. I want to pitch about 7.
See that green thing?
Yeah, the backpack thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a blessing to be in this first cut of rough, in my opinion. You know you're not going to spin it unexpectedly, even if it's a little bit of an uphill ride. She has shown so much touch the last 2 days, all week for that matter. She tried to hit the low spinner.
Just to the edge. To go through the back issues like she did, you know she's got some toughness to come back and be a 4-time All-American at Arkansas, come out and play at this level, but we've seen it especially this week.
Morgan Pressa on the 10th tee. Starting the back 9, 4 shots off the lead. And don't forget, yesterday she birdied 11, 12, and 13. She would love to do the same again today.
You know what? Last Thursday, if somebody said, "Would you be happy if you were on the 10th tee, 4 back, playing pretty well?" You'd really be happy.
Back to 9.
And Jerry, upon closer inspection, what's Yanni looking at?
Well, it depends on that line. Getting as close as I can, and it doesn't look good. There's plenty of grass right behind it. You'd like a clean line here so you could just loft it onto the fringe and let it release. Get a little grass between the club and the ball, and you could be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, we got a good close-up of it, Jerry, and I don't think she can avoid a little grass between the club face and the ball here, so.
She'll open it up maybe even more to get more club head speed to decrease the variable of that grass.
Wide open.
Okay. Might not look good, but that's really not a bad shot. Could have been a lot worse.
Sen, just 22 years of age, originally from Taipei, Taiwan. Lived in nearby Beaumont here in the Palm Springs area for about 2.5, 3 years. Practiced there. Now is in Orlando.
Hands ahead of the ball, the blade wide open. She gets back to the impact area with her hands still slightly ahead of the ball. The club kind of uses the bounce and slides under the grass, much like a very, very delicate bunker shot.
So she's going to move her mark. Earlier today on the second green, as a matter of fact, Yani Tsen was off the green, but it was Stacey Lewis who was away, and Yani was so focused that she didn't even notice that. She went ahead and played. Stacey kind of shook her head. I don't think it upset her.
No, I think it's just one of those things that happens in golf. She was immersed in what she was doing. Her caddy didn't pay close attention, apparently, to say, you know, hey, you're not away. That was one of those things that happens on the golf course that has absolutely no meaning.
They played together just some 7 weeks ago in the same group, 2 straight days over the weekend at the ANC Ladies Masters, and Yani Tsen got the better end of it then.
I can tell you this, when I watched Stacey on that second green, she became even more focused after that little incident, and she's been that way all day. Smiled a couple times after some great shots, but been extremely focused. Can't smile now.
And a great putt.
Well, that erases the miss at the previous hole right away.
So we're tied at the top, 13 under. And these two in the final group threatening to run away from the pack, although Pressel just 4 back. Out in 3 under 33. I don't know what the mindset was this morning, what the feelings were. Yani Tsen talked all week how she wasn't feeling the pressure yet. I imagine she is right now.
You know, she has 2 things going for her, 2 big things going for her. She's the defending champion. That gives you just a little extra boost when you come to a very difficult golf course and play the best fields. She also was the winner of the last played major championship, which was the Ricoh Women's British Open at Birkdale. So she is defending and defending in a sense.
And she moved to Orlando, bought Annika Sorenstam's house, lives there, has talked to Annika a great deal about the pressure of being #1, and Annika said, face it, face the pressure, just deal with it. Pressure just went up.
She didn't miss it because she was timid.
No. So what a swing here at 9. And she's not done yet. Just hanging on that edge. Big turnaround as they make the turn. Yani Tsen's lead to start the day was 2. Firmly entrenched that #1 spot in the world, but now she trails by 1 as they head over to #10 here in the final day.
We're back with the final group. Have reached the back 9 on Sunday afternoon in a major championship. Stacey Lewis has that 1-shot lead.
Tenth hole playing straight downwind. That is left center and going to be very nice.
The 10th tee is just right opposite the 18th green, and the grandstand's at the 18th green. So when there are cheers at 18, you hear them at the 10th tee.
Yeah, Kari Webb, part of that group too, is coming in at 18, so that you get the large, loud cheer here.
Stacey Lewis still swinging very nice and freely, a full swing. no hesitation whatsoever, looking very solid.
She said yesterday that she felt like she wasn't trusted it. Finally just committed to letting it go on the back nine and hit a lot more high-quality shots. Yanni hit it after the first hole yesterday nearly perfectly the entire day. Left edge needs a bounce.
You don't want to miss it left, not with that hole position today. And I can't see any way she can get close to that hole.
Boy, but through the bunker.
Might have even been easier if it was in the bunker. And up at the green, Morgan Pressel for yet another birdie to get within 3. Never say never. Well, for a little bit more on Morgan Pressel, let's go down to Rich Lerner.
Phil, thank you. For a long time, Morgan Pressel's had the word youngest attached to her name. Youngest to play a U.S. Open, youngest to win a women's major championship. But given the events in her life, safe to say that Morgan Pressel, now 22, is actually an old head on a young set of shoulders. In 2001, 10 years ago, Morgan Pressel burst onto the national golf stage when, as a 12-year-old, she qualified for the U.S. Women's Open. At the time, she became the youngest player to ever accomplish that feat. The very next year, Morgan earned her way onto the prestigious Junior Solheim Cup team, but tragedy would strike in her life, and she would not be able to make that trip.
I remember the call. We were at Junior Solheim Cup, and I will never forget that moment, realizing that she's not coming because her mother passed away.
She was on the Junior Solheim Cup team, and she was ready to go to Sweden. I'll never forget picking her up and telling her she couldn't go. Her mother was in bad shape. Losing your mother is just a tragedy.
My grandfather, took me all over the country, took me to all my events as a junior, as an amateur, and continues to on tour.
Morgan's mother fell ill with breast cancer right before she was set to depart with her team and eventually passed away a year later. Morgan was just 15 years old. She immediately moved in with her grandparents on her mother's side, Evelyn and Dr. Herb Krickstein, who was her golf coach as well as her grandfather. Just 2 years later, as a 17-year-old amateur, Pressel finished tied for second at the U.S. Women's Open. She turned pro a few months later and quickly contended on the LPGA Tour.
She's a very competitive person, like her mother is very similar. And so her first event was in Hawaii, and I think she finished 5th, which was a phenomenal finish. And I think she cried. She thought she should win everything.
I have always been a grinder, and I mean, just like my mother.
What would your mom say then if you became the youngest player to ever win an LPGA professional major? At the age of 18, Morgan Pressel did just that, winning the Kraft Nabisco Championship. Unfortunately, though, without her mother there to see it.
I remember her saying, I wish my mom was here, and I was like, your mom is there. She is there. She jumped in that water with you.
I've had a lot in my life, but I've had a lot of good things as well. My mother would be proud of everything that's happened in my life over the last 7 years.
A grinder, just like her mother. Boy, are we seeing evidence of that today. Without that triple bogey, she'd be tied for the lead. But what a bounce-back story this has become. Morgan Pressel is not long off the tee, not nearly as long as Yanni Tseng or Michelle Wie, but she can putt. And is she ever tough as nails? Let's get back to the action now. It is really heating up.
Yes, thanks, Rich. It certainly is heating up. Not a
it looks pretty dry to me.
I
think it can. Either, with this club, probably you want to keep it maybe a bit lower so it bounces up.
Okay.
Does that feel alright? Okay, we'll just go in the right centre of the green.
Good strategy there, Phil.
You think it's pretty dry out here? It's kind of bounced like pretty dry.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit dry and everything's been bouncing up.
Jerry, she used to have these conversations much more at length and really tried to become a quicker decision maker and get about her business in the last year.
Has to play this out to the right. No chance of landing it on the green in line with the flag. That actually was much higher of a shot than I thought she would play, and exactly what she was trying to do.
That was a phenomenal shot. She hit it as high as she could and landed it on the upslope. It was probably the only chance she had of trying to get any kind of judgment of how you can stop that shot. I think that was a lot better than what we realize. We'll stay for Stacey Lewis.
98 yards to the hole. Still gonna be.
I mean, don't you think, with the help and everything?
I mean, as long as one's helping a little bit,
Yeah.
I think it's good. It knocks it down, all of it. It's not, I mean, don't worry about it knocking it down.
Yeah. Get too much spin on it.
Or it's just the side.
Help it cover that. Alright. Let's get a little number in there about that.
It's just a year run.
Yeah, I think an 86, 87. And then we'll get a couple of
Caddy is Travis Wilson.
To cover the bunker, 98 to the hole. It would take a perfectly executed shot to land it in line with the flag and stop it there. I think she's aiming right as well. Nothing wrong about that.
Look at this.
Maybe you just meant to say aiming right at it.
Well, Stacey Lewis, she's not holding back as she has that one-shot lead and she looks very determined. Yanni San on the 10th green. This for a birdie to tie for the lead. I'm just wondering if those yells over at the 18th green just made her back off a little.
That stroke had better tempo.
Well, there's one thing you can always guarantee is that she is going to try her best to make a putt. I can't remember seeing her coming up short on almost any length putt this week.
For Julie Inkster, Hall of Famer, making her way across the bridge, across Poppy's Pond, and to the green. It's a great walk, and obviously we'll see it later today. The whole grandstand there, Judy, packed, welcoming the players.
Back to the 10th hole, Stacey Lewis has this one for a two-shot lead.
Looks like a little bit of a double breaker. Might turn left early and then die right. Well, she got half of it. I got half of it right.
Yeah, so did she. Good time right now for Stacey Lewis to make a couple of birdies or hold a putt that you're probably not expecting. Next hole's a par 5. It'd be interesting what happens there. Yanni San has this one to save par and stay one shot back.
Well, Phil, what I saw a couple times on the front, especially there at the 9th, was something that Jane Crafter had told me to look out for with Yanni's stroke. When she's putting bad, her shoulders get a little open, and she opens the heel through impact, kind of just opens the face through impact. She did that at 9. This one isn't very long, but if that's her bad thing, then these are the ones where it shows up most.
Yeah, it's something to watch out for then. Over these closing holes. Let's go one hole to the 11th.
This is the third shot for Morgan. Presser doesn't look too good here, Jane.
Yeah, but could be a lot worse. Not a bad lie, but has to come up and over the bunker. She's judged that very nicely. and about as good as really you could expect.
Yeah, tough hole location to play at from the left side of this fairway.
Yanni Sen and Stacey Lewis heading to the par 5 11th.
I think everyone practices the jump in the pond in their head. I mean, everyone's rehearsed it. Even if they won't admit it, they've rehearsed it in their head on how they're going to enter the water, what kind of splash they're going to make.
I would do like a round off flip flop, you know, back tuck into the water. No, I'm just kidding.
It's just everybody's got their own style. That, you know, some people cannonball into the lake, some people just walk into the lake.
Everyone's like, well, your caddy did a cannonball, why didn't you do a belly flop or something? So I'm gonna have to be more creative.
It's gonna be a leap that you know, every girl, like I said, every girl waits for it, every girl wants to do it. It's not gonna be tiptoeing in, it's not gonna be just, you know, jumping in. It's gonna be have some enthusiasm in it.
I feel like I want to die and like go like this, jump into the water, make it sound special, because I got some comment, my friends say that's the ugly jump. I was like, no, that's pretty cool. I mean, I think I fly high and then jump in the water. I think that's cool. So I need to think in something like a turning jump or something, make it cool.
Got the opportunity last year, and she may have it again this year. Yanni Sen. Poppy's Pond, named after Terry Wilcox, the former tournament director here. His grandkids call him Poppy, and there it is. It's a lot cleaner than it used to be when Amy Alcott first jumped in.
It is, and Terry's been here a lot this week with a group of his grandchildren.
Xiao Wei has a putt for eagle on the 11th.
Slow putt turning from right to left.
Will she find the old one? Yes, she has! So Xiao Wei moves to 7 under. She is 6 shots behind. She has 7 holes to play.
And one more par 5.
Which is the 18th, of course. Back on the tee, this is Stacey Lewis.
Wind blowing from the right and helping dogleg right. Tough to keep it in the fairway. That was well struck, right down the middle. Will it stay there?
Only half the field have found the fairway on the 11th today, and that is why it's pretty firm out there. That one runs into the rough. Up on the green, Morgan Pressel for her 3rd birdie in a row. Pressel will tap in. She remains at 10 under. She is 3 shots back. She had a triple bogey today on the 6th hole. Since then, she's 3 under for her round. Just a moment ago, Yanni Sen.
She's birdied this hole every day. Very aggressive tee shot yesterday. That one was tattooed, also up the center.
This tee backed up today some 30 yards. Made Michelle Wee's eagle even a little more impressive.
Stacey Lewis started the day 2 shots behind Yanni Sen. Come from behind winners at the Grand Nabisco since 2006. Yanni started 1 shot back. Kai was 7 behind. Morgan Pressel came from 4 behind, and she started the round today 4 shots back. Stacey now up with her ball. Can't think that she can get there out of the rough, Jerry.
Right. Start that kind of.
That tree on the right side of the lane.
I think finishing is good. I was thinking like between the guy and like the left edge of the bunker, starting to dip, like on the right edge of that tree.
Okay.
She's dropped some horrible lines the last 2 days. This one, another one. It was way down in the rough. I was talking with her on the range about it. She said today's the day they're going to bounce back into the first cut. Hasn't really happened that much so far. Only able to advance that one about 130 yards.
That didn't come out anything like that.
They moved the tee back here to play its full yardage, 536 yards. That was the only adjustment that the golf course had from last year. Added 35 yards or so to that 11th hole.
Top Paula Creamer making that walk on the grandstand up at 18. The statue of Dinah Shore was such a big part, Judy, of this event for so many years. It was called the Dinah Shore.
Many of us still do, but thanks to Kraft Nabisco for keeping this going on all these years. And of course, this is now called the Dinah Shore course.
Dinah Shore tournament course.
And back on the 11th, Yanni Sen ready to go with her second shot, Jerry.
She's got 2 hybrids in her bag. One she carries about 210, one she carries about 195. I think this might even be the weaker one, even though it is 223 front. There's a lot of wind helping.
Pin over on the left side of the green.
That's toward the right edge of the green, or right edge of where she was aiming. Flirted with the green side bunker.
It's okay. So Lewis leads by 1, but Sen has the upper hand on the 11th. On the 11th, Yanni Sen had a crack in 2. She's just come up shy of the green on the right. This is Stacey Lewis's 3rd shot.
114 probably has to land it on the fringe to get it close.
What happened there, Jerry?
I don't know if she mishit it or just misjudged it. It sounded pretty clean.
Let's go up to the closing hole.
Sandra Gall, who won the Kia Classic last week, her first win on the LPGA Tour, just outside of LA at even par, going to finish inside the top 15 it looks like, and that would be her best finish in a major.
Opened with 67. She was surely on a roll after the victory.
Playing with Paula Creamer, who's 2 over.
On the 11th green, Sen is going to play first, or maybe it'll be Stacey Lewis. It's a deja vu.
No, Yanni's away and should play first, and probably has the easier of the 2 shots. Not to mention the fact hers is her 3rd shot, Stacey's is her 4th, but a little more green to work with here. She's been pretty dynamite on these shots all week as well.
Jerry?
Yeah. Very disappointed in herself right now.
And at 18, Paula Creamer trying to finish up with a birdie, currently 2 over. Hadn't had much success in the Kraft Nabisco Championship, Judy.
No, and I think a little slow start to this season, given that she's finally back 100% with that left hand.
Those were rolling in at Oakmont.
It was going well at Oakmont, wasn't it?
But it will stop if I land on the green? Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
What do you got there?
And it's 60 to land it. You think 56 if I land it short?
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Okay,
Yeah, he's on an upslope too.
Yeah.
Turn it into about a 60.
Calling right, if anything?
Yeah.
Be one of those great match play moments, Jerry, where Stacey chips in and Yanni misses.
I like the prediction. Going for the pitch and run and not the checker. She's making those look easy, you guys.
That's what she did with those 4-footers yesterday, Jerry.
Here at 12, Morgan Pressel. You know, Pressel yesterday, she was asked what it might take. She said, well, I'm going to plan on 7 birdies tomorrow, but if I get 5, I might have a chance to win. Right now, Judy, she's got 5 birdies on the card. What she didn't plan on was that triple bogey at 6.
We golfers never do.
And didn't have enough pace.
You know, you saw the great piece on her and other pictures of her when she was just 12. From 1997 through 2001, she was part of the LPGA and USGA girls golf program in West Palm Beach. So almost every player that you are seeing today started this game as a little girl.
Her grandfather, as we saw, such a big part of her early success, driving her everywhere to every junior event all over the country, traveling with her to 11.
Yanni Sen looking at this birdie putt. This to tie the lead.
A little downhill. Not too much though. Things have not come nearly as easy today for Yanni as they did yesterday. She earned it yesterday, but today she's really having to earn it.
I have to say that's very surprising. I think it surprised Yanni as well. It's funny, the game of golf, isn't it? The way that the emotions go back and forth. Stacey Lewis, it's a horrible third shot. All unhappy, chips up to there, she'll walk away and feel okay. Yanni said it's a good second shot. Doesn't get up and down, and she's going to be annoyed at herself. They both make the same score, most probably. Go up to number 12.
Michelle Wee trying to save par. And Judy, that's been the story. The long eagle putt and then a par miss.
I think she likes to tease her fans.
So 2 5s on the 11th, and Stacey Lewis remains 1 ahead, looking to win for the very first time on the LPGA Tour. Stacey, you may as well make it a major championship.
Seven holes left to play for that final group. Stacey Lewis with a 1-shot lead over Yanni Sen, who is the #1 player in the world, as the wind continues to blow here in Rancho Mirage. And out to the tee at the par 4 12th.
Nice. Good looking aggressive swing right there. Good looking tee ball.
Well, I've repeated it time after time, but working with professional Joe Hallett and through the winter working on her physical strength, she is hitting the ball a lot farther. And I can't tell you anything that gives a player more confidence and to feel like they're hitting it longer.
And that's what Morgan Pressel's hoping to do, is hit this one down the middle. Started left, is in cutting back. Ideal now for Morgan Pressel. You can see how this fairway slopes from left to right, and the water drains that way, so the rough on the right side is very severe on the 13th. Let's go back to 12.
Yanni Sen.
Looked like 3 wood there. On the right side.
Hanging in there. That intermediate cut of rough, and may have just gotten to the collar, the edge. Yanni Sen trying to come back now. She had the lead by 2 to start the day. Came back from 3 yesterday, so back and forth we go. And Stacey Lewis trying to close out her very first victory. And Stacey Lewis, when asked about it yesterday after her round, about playing with Yanni Sen, you know, is it tough to match up with her? And again, tomorrow you've got to play. She said, nuh-uh, I want to play against the #1 player in the world. And in the final round, I want to know exactly what I need to do.
Okay, 121 pin. 6 on top, and you got 70 on.
10 down and 10 short.
Yeah, that's 10 short is the bottom of the ridge. That's 111.
You like it?
Yeah, 111 is the bottom of the ridge. Should still be helping a bit, huh? 111 is the bottom of the ridge and it's downwind.
105?
105, 104, yeah. Okay.
Maybe 52?
Well, the wind is this way, it's not straight down. I think it's a one. Well, we're going to pitch a 110, like about a 103 shot.
No, 3 even then.
It just depends on the lie, you know. Like if you're landing.
This is so strong.
Well, if you're landing it left of the pin, it's 108 to cover. All right. So land it in line with the pin. All right.
Jerry, I know this is a pretty short
Yes.
shot, but
Full shot at the pin.
history says that when the hole is in this location, players tend not to hit enough club. They tend to leave it short of the hole.
Well, she just unilaterally overruled her caddy, Jason. Well, that doesn't look like it has any chance of getting there.
Moral of the story, listen to your caddy.
Moral of the story is, you know, you've played this golf course enough times, and it's one of the things that you really should learn from playing it, is that when the hole's on the back on the 12th,
I don't think it's quite full, but
plays
it's
just
just
that
swing it, you know.
almost
Yeah,
half a club
maybe just
long.
grip it and
Grip
pack
it
it.
and go.
Yeah. Because you don't want to lay off.
You see, it's going through that stuff fine.
All right, good solid
So
shot.
at it. Start at
Actually, it started just a step right of it, like there's a guy in the yellow shirt back there, in case it turns it tight.
Yeah.
Not a bad lie. I got to give it to both caddies in this group, though. They have been extremely composed, not looking nervous at all, like caddies sometimes can get, as players do in this situation. Excellent shot.
Chance for Stacy Lewis to extend the lead to 2. She would be the 4th player to make her first win out here at the Kraft Nabisco Championship, a major. Lengthy birdie putt here at 12 for Yanni Sen.
A little uphill, definitely turning right at the end. Not that much uphill, though.
Women's British Open last year, she held the lead going into the final round and won it. Yanni Sen did. It was the first time she had won with that. And she did it again early this year. But Stacy Lewis not only not backing down today, but leading in a big opportunity right now for birdie to take a 2-shot lead. Leader by 2. This has been pretty impressive. As impressive as Yanni Sen was yesterday with the 66, Stacy Lewis has been just that today.
You know, she was touted to be this player right away, right out of college, and right away when she turned pro. And she's had her stumbles along the way. She said at one time she even felt lost. She was playing overseas. She was by herself. She didn't even know if she was doing what she should be doing. But boy, has she turned things around, and she seems like such a confident young woman now.
Now to stay within 2. And does. Need a comeback charge though. Stacy Lewis, her dad Dale, he's been here all week. Her mom Carol came in Friday night. They've been a big support system for her on and away from the golf course, and they head over to 13. As do we.
Yes, and this is Morgan Presser. Look at this putt. This is for a birdie.
We may see a few of those next week, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, a little mystery there, wasn't it? Not sure what she was looking at. But Stacy Lewis started the day 2 shots behind, now has a 2-shot lead. Yanni San has got a battle in her hand. Will it be more than she can handle?
Pretty startling what's taken place so far here in the final day of the first major of the season on the LPGA circuit. The Kraft Nabisco Championship, the event that helped start it all back in the 70s and take the LPGA to the next level. All the tradition of Poppy's Pond and the leap at the end of that day. Well, it's Stacy Lewis. She started the day 2 shots behind the best player on the planet right now. Yanni Sen, #1 in the Rolex ranking. She's won 4 times worldwide. But it's Lewis looking for her first official victory out on tour. Who's got a 2-shot lead. Out to 13.
Yeah, just a moment ago, Morgan Pressel to save par.
One of those very hard short putts.
Well, it looked like she just pulled that one. I know there was a little movement left to right, but that. And I think this is even further for a bogey. Well, she had that triple bogey on the 6th hole on the front 9. She came back very strongly, but after this double bogey, she's just hasn't got enough holes to come back now. She's 8 under par. Just, well, you never say never, but a long way back. From this lady, Stacy Lewis.
That was started at the left, playing the fade and running it in. Looks good.
It's not too bad. This time it didn't release into the deep rough. She'll be pleased about that, because all week if it had a chance to go into the rough, it did. And now Yanni Sen.
Solid drive. Heading a little right. Needs a bounce.
Yeah, there was a little leaf that just caught her eye, and I think it put her off just a little bit.
Just crept into that deep stuff.
Yeah, depends on the lines. Go to 14.
And Michelle Wee and Morgan Pressel have reached the tee on this par 3, and they will head back towards the clubhouse from this point. This is the furthest point from the 18th green.
And Tom, this hole today playing 120 yards, and in the last 5 minutes I'd say the wind's picked up about another 10 miles an hour. It's coming from the right, and so a tough hole location with this breeze. Trying to hit a hold-off pitching wedge, but it's got going with the wind to the left.
And bunkered. Michelle made that eagle on the 11th, but followed it up with a bogey on number 12, so she's back on 6 under
still,
par.
please.
Currently 8 behind, back to 13.
All depends on the lie.
It's not bad. Lying down grain from 103. Went from the left and helping a bit.
But you sure do want to keep this one below the hole.
That's going to have to spin to do so. Oh, hit the hole.
She'll have herself that really speedy putt. Was never going to stop from that lie though. And now Stacy Lewis.
87 yards. Very little conversation here. She's birdied the hole every round so far.
Just under 8.
It's not going to jump, you think?
It's all going with us, and that grass is dead now. right there. So
It didn't earlier though.
yeah,
You like just an 80 shot?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jerry, she's
Maybe
driving the
stuff
ball a
left in it.
million miles.
She really is. Well, when they both hit their Sunday best, Yanni's been 10 in front of her, but same iron shots. And I know that caught you off guard. I think it caught a lot of people off guard. She put on a lot of distance. The swing is textbook, though. So many good positions throughout the motion. That's good. Take a seat, too.
Ow. Hit.
I suppose that's the advantage of not coming out of the deep rough, and Stacey Lewis giving herself a chance for another birdie. But that's a bit of a bendy one from left to right. Got a chance to, there you see, you can have nice contact there.
What a day this is turning out to be for Stacey Lewis. Not done yet, but she's been terrific so far. Got a new coach this year, Joe Hallett. She talked to us about what they really worked on in the off season.
We were kind of just looking at some things with my swing that I needed to work on, and found my takeaway was kind of a little bit handsy. And so my instructor said, hey, look at Kari's swing. She's always done this really well through her career. And so it was kind of more in the takeaway, and that's what we've been working on the last couple months. But I think anytime I got to play with her a couple times over the winter, and anytime you get to play with the Hall of Famer, I think you can learn something. And that's all. I mean, this last year, I've just been trying to learn from everybody else.
Really trying to emulate Kari Webb, and not a bad one to try to pattern your game after, but she's actually bought a place in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. She's moving there in July, and going to pick the brain of Kari Webb a little bit more, the two-time winner of this Craft Nabisco Championship.
Kari Webb, one of the great swings ever in women's golf. You would have to put her in the top 5 of all time, probably starting with Mickey Wright. But watch this swing from Stacey Lewis now. Nice takeaway. Swings the club right up over her right shoulder. Swings it nice and high. Really stays in the shot and releases it to a high finish. You might remember after her conversation, Kari Webb would always have her little pre-shot routine would be a bit of a rehearsed takeaway that was just try to get the club on the right path and not too handsy, with a little bit of extension.
Kari even par. She's in 15th place, by the way, after 71 today.
7th birdie attempt.
Good line.
Oh, that was a mighty fine putt. You don't get much closer than that without going in. Once again, you see, she just tries to hold every single putt. It doesn't matter how far away or how difficult, and she knew it had a chance.
Is that the bravery of youth, Phil?
You know, some people just try to hold every putt. Others say this is a difficult putt, I just try and lag it. But you know, it's difficult to change your attitude. I think if you try and hold every putt, you'll be a little more consistent. And talk about consistency, Stacey Lewis has just played phenomenal golf this week.
Well, we've learned that there has not been another woman from the University of Arkansas to win on the LPGA Tour, and Stacey's not just from the University of Arkansas. She is a graduate with a finance and accounting degree.
This for a 3-shot lead.
That was a tough one to read. Actually ran it by, but it looked like it had to turn a lot right and didn't.
I thought that was right on the money.
Yeah, that seemed to stay very straight compared to what we were expecting.
Both have plenty of work remaining.
I don't think there was anything wrong with that stroke. It's just a difficult one to read. Yanni Sand to save par.
Even though it turned a bunch going past the hole, this shouldn't do much. Maybe just left to center. Pretty much all week, certainly today. She's hit these in with plenty of force.
They are both in a position where neither one can blink.
Exactly.
Certainly made that look very easy. And and it probably was a fraction easier than the one Stacey Lewis has, especially when she was expecting the first putt to move from left to right and it barely did. So coming back the other way, I suppose you've always got the doubt, does this mean that this putt's going to be straight instead of a little right to left? Stacey Lewis, final group on a Sunday in a major championship, and she's 4 under par, better than anyone else on the golf course. How about that?
Graf Nabisco Championship Sunday in Rancho Mirage, and the final group has reached the 14th tee.
The wind really whipping right now from the right, but is hurting a little bit. Going with 9-iron. Riding the wind left of the hole, plenty of club.
All right.
Jerry, there aren't too many leaderboards out there, but I'm assuming these players know that nobody has made a big move towards them.
We haven't heard a lot of roars from up ahead on this entire side. Couldn't hear much right now as far as the wind's blowing, but nobody's asked. I think they know it's pretty much a two-person race.
Well, I'll tell you, Stacey Lewis at 4 under is really impressive. The 2 best rounds of the day posted are 69 by Katie Future and 69 by Julieta Granada. Katie Future with the best finish of her career in this major championship, but you can tell how hard the golf course is playing.
This also a 9-iron. Tried cutting it up into the wind, right at it.
Only carried the water by a couple of yards. So Yanni Sen currently 2 behind Stacey Lewis, and for more Stacey Lewis, let's go down to Rich Lerner.
Tom, thanks. What a remarkable story. When she was 11 years old, Stacey Lewis was diagnosed with scoliosis. Essentially, it's curvature of the spine. She was in a back brace for 7.5 years, 18 hours a day. And we'll show you some x-rays. They did the surgery. They put 5 screws in her back and a metal rod. And when you consider for just a moment where she is right now, leading a major championship, and where she was when she was about to have that surgery, it's mind-boggling.
The day I found out I had to have surgery, I thought I'd never play golf again. I mean, I didn't think there'd be any way at all I'd play golf. And then my doctor found out that I was playing. I had a scholarship, and he was kind of like, well, we can do the surgery a little different way. You'll still have a lot of flexibility, and you should be able to play fine. But I mean, you have the surgery, and I'm 3 months I couldn't, or 6 months I couldn't bend or twist. So there's a lot of doubt in there. It made me just so much more appreciative of what I get to do. And I used to get really upset and really mad. I mean, my mom threatened to pull me off the golf course all the time. And so it was hard. I mean, it was hard going through what I did, but I was so glad I did, because it made me the person that I am, and it made me want to practice and want to get out there and play.
Thought she might never play golf, the game that she loved. Well, play she did. She won the NCAA championship at the University of Arkansas, was a star on the Curtis Cup team, in fact was unbeaten when she played the Curtis Cup, held the 54-hole lead at the U.S. Women's Open in 2008, ended up finishing tied for 3rd at Interlaken in Minnesota. That was her first professional event. And then, as Judy mentioned earlier, following that U.S. Open, sort of lost, found herself overseas in hotel rooms, lonely, didn't really know what she was doing. She has it all back together, and Terry and Judy have found this interesting. She said after her 3rd round here yesterday, trailing by 2, I think Yanni has more pressure on her in the final round. I can just go out and play. Is she ever playing right now?
You know, and I take you back, Judy, to that tee shot at 9, where she took it over the trees and took the chance to gain some length, and that's kind of indicative of the way she hasn't backed off today.
Oh, absolutely. And so she took the attitude going in that she had everything to gain and nothing to lose, and she has played that way, but with considerable control.
One final thought. She said exhaustion. That's what she took away from that effort getting close at the U.S. Women's Open. She was exhausted yesterday. We'll see if it plays in down the stretch.
It's going to be a 3 for Stacey Lewis. She gets a lot of emails and letters from parents of children suffering from scoliosis, and she says she's proud to put a human face on the condition. Teach young children it's not going to hinder them. And in fact, Mizuno Classic in Japan last year said a little Japanese girl come out to watch who was suffering from scoliosis, and Stacey said, you know what, it gave me a lot of inspiration. Sen for 2. This would close the gap to just 1 shot with 4 to play.
This would be rather large if she can hold this one. Stacey's not even watching.
Opportunity goes missing for Yanni Sen, and the gap remains 2 shots.
That was a good effort. Sets her feet when she putts, much the same way as she does for full shots, as Jerry said earlier, ever so slightly open.
Stacey Lewis 4 under par for this final round of the Craft Nabisco Championship. We're heading to the 15th hole, 4 to play on a beautiful Sunday in the Coachella Valley.
And then there were 2. Stacey Lewis, a 2-shot lead over Yanni Sen. They're ahead of the pack on the tee at 15. Here's Stacey Lewis. Right down the middle. And Judy, this day began with most people, at least around here, I think around the country, paying attention to this championship, saying, well, Yanni Sen is going to take this and run away from everyone today. It hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's certainly not what we expected. But Stacey Lewis did exactly what she thought she might be able to do, and I think there is no doubt it has changed the way Yanni's played. You see these trees to the right that overhang on this fairway. That is the one place that these 2 players could get in any trouble. If they get themselves into that group of trees, you can actually be in the fairway and not have a shot on this hole because of those overhanging trees. Their length makes it a little less of an issue, but I don't think the wind's favorable, is it, Jerry?
No, wind blowing from the right. You pretty much have to aim it at those trees. That's going to be pretty much right down the sprinkler line.
And for Sen to start the day, you had a chance, still do, to take that #1 ranking. And everybody's been waiting since Lorena Ochoa retired, Annika Sorenstam retired, for that next player to really take it and run. And she still may, but without a win here, that's still in doubt.
Well, she has been taking it and running with it, but this was a big, big opportunity for Yanni.
Yesterday, the 66. without a bogey all day yesterday. Just a birdie try earlier today at 11. Close with that, but bold, as we've talked about. Getting into the hole, trying to make every putt. This for birdie at 13.
Yeah, she has not missed a putt today because she was timid.
And just a moment ago, think about how close she was to landing on that front and rolling back into the water, or close to it, and this for birdie rolls by, and yet another opportunity goes on the wayside. So a bit frustrating, and now trailing Stacey Lewis, not only walking up the fairway at 15, but on the leaderboard. 4 under, the best that we have seen today for Stacey Lewis. Look at the birdie at 2, which most in contention expect to at least birdie, the par 5, and then the bogey at 4, and that 9, costly one. Up ahead on the green here at 15, Michelle Wie for birdie. Just a moment ago, and hadn't been able to get anything really working with the putter today. For Morgan Presso, who made that big run, this to save par.
He had to punch out of the trees. It's an excellent par save.
Well, she's been on a roller coaster, Jane.
Oh, she has, but I tell you, I give her a lot of credit. She's grinding away.
Got it to 10 under a couple of times. Triple bogey at 6 did her in. Came back with 3 birdies. All right, this final group playing 15. As you look at the holes down the stretch, and we go up to 17. Get your thoughts in a moment, Judy, about what they face.
Brittany Lincecum with a tee shot on the par 3. Haven't seen too much of Brittany today. She is 3 over for her round. And she's had an awful run on this back 9. Bogey, double bogey, bogey, birdie, bogey. She did get it to 5 under. After a birdie on the second hole. It's not been the best of days. Back to the 15.
Stacey Lewis trying to figure out the wind and how far this shot is. Michelle Wie did make her par putt just a moment ago up ahead on the green. Judy, you got 15, which today has been the 8th most difficult hole. So it's not one of the most difficult holes, but then a tough stretch, 16 and 17, the 2 most difficult on the course today.
Well, I think these 2 players have already done what you have to do at 15. They drove it really well. So I think they should be able to give themselves birdie opportunities. 16 is also all about the tee shot. If you drive it well, it shouldn't be that hard a hole. Although the flagstick at 16 is tucked a little bit to the right. But here's Stacey Lewis with her second.
Still up there.
Yep, that 110 shot.
Those trees you were talking about right in the fairway that they have to avoid off the tee really block the wind here. 108 yards. Breeze is from the right and hurting in a severe uphill lie. Flag barely moving though.
What?
Huge mistake.
Yeah, big mistake from 108 yards. Whoa. It happens to people on severe uphill lies more than you would think. If you shift your weight slightly to your right side, as you normally do, you can get hung back on your right foot, and you tend to hit a shot that goes high right.
Opening for Seng.
Indeed, 3 yards closer, 105, same exact type of lie, maybe even more severely uphill.
She practiced this winter with Gary Gilchrist on lies like this to try to learn to shift her weight a little more clearly to her right side so she could make a good move through the ball.
That's a very good move through the ball. Right on the front edge, under the hole.
Birdie chance at 15, and Yanni, who is already the youngest player to win 3 majors, looking for her 4th. She's won 6 times overall.
Yeah.
that pin.
And is only 22 years old. Go up to 16.
Tee shot for Morgan Pressel.
And with the tees back. Makes it a tough hole for Morgan. She's hit a good drive down the right side, but she's going to be struggling to get around this big tree now.
Yes, with this wind as well, I think it's probably shortening these tee shots. Is that right, Jane?
Absolutely, Phil. It's picked up quite a bit right now.
Yeah, certainly want to be down the left on 16 today.
And Judy, it does come down to these moments down the stretch, these shots down the stretch. You can close it out or not. Third coming up from the bunker.
She had some great up and downs yesterday. She hasn't forced her hand that often today, but she really needs this one.
This one's going to have to be extra special. Short-sided, not enough to lie in the bunker, which she would love. And not that good of a lie, ball sitting cleanly, but just a little mound of sand right behind it, which is going to really prevent her from being able to spin it as much as she'd like to. She has to land this on the fringe to get it close. And that's bringing bad things into play. That was beyond incredible.
How good is that?
I can't believe I just saw that. Under this situation.
Wow. And where she landed it, Judy, to allow it to do what it just did.
Okay, I would have thought the ball was just a little too far back in her stance, but you see she slides the club wide open right under the ball, gets the ball just high enough. There you go, hits right behind it, slides it underneath the ball. The ball starts spinning backwards and moving upwards.
Under pressure down the stretch in a major championship, that's when your technique does take over, I would think, or we've worked on all these years.
Well, I've been told that there is no such thing as muscle memory, but having played a lot of golf and hit a lot of golf balls and so on, it's really hard for me to believe
to
that.
Remember?
It's hard for me to believe that, because I think when you get under pressure, this thing you've done with your hands and arms and your body so many times, it comes naturally.
Muscle memory, there's no question about it.
Well, if there was no such thing as muscle memory, I'd have a chance at a good swing.
Big putt now for Yanni Tsin.
Yeah, they're all big now. This one even more so after that bunker shot.
Looks good.
What did you just say about every putt today?
Every putt today has been beyond the hole, and not one has seemed as though it was a timid stroke. That was right up the hill, right into the grain, and in the heart.
Chances the last two holes. Not able to connect. So she had the birdie putt at 14, birdie putt at 15, can't make them, and now it comes down to Stacey Lewis and what would be a big sand save.
And hard to stay in your routine in this situation, Judy. Easy to take a little more time.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Two ways to go. You can take a little more time and run the risk of second guessing yourself, or you can play a little quicker than is your norm. But she just seems that her pace hasn't changed for 2 days, Jerry.
No, when she gets up over, she wastes very little time.
Well, she didn't take enough time on that stroke, I'm going to tell you, because she quit on it before it was over.
That stroke was not the one we've been watching for 2 days, and really 4. Drop shot at 15 for Stacey Lewis after she put it in the bunker. So Yanni Tsin makes par and is now within 1 as they head over to 16. You got 16 the par 4, 17 a difficult par 3, and then 18 with the water, and so much changes at 18 here at the Kraft Nabisco Championship.
Just a moment to go. Morgan Pressel's second shot to 16. You can see the tree in the way with this shot.
This is from 172, Phil.
Has to start it left and cut it back.
Oh my, this is going well left.
Oh,
with the wind.
There's looked like there's an out of bounds post over there. Oh, my goodness me, everything's happening to Morgan today. So that's the old double cross. You start it left for a big cut and it goes further left. Now we're live at the tee with Yanni Sen.
Breeze in from the right, blowing pretty much steady as it has been all day. She was actually doing a few swing drills on the tee while they were waiting. That's nicely struck. Headed to the left side.
Well, if you've got power and go down the left side, that's going to open up the second shot, and you couldn't place that any better than there. Only one shot behind right now, behind Stacey Lewis.
That group of 3 big trees that you see in the distance, maybe just right of what would be center down this fairway line is the line.
Pointer, good response there to her first missed short putt of the entire weekend.
So much like the last hole, 2 great drives will make it not nearly so difficult.
That's right. That was a huge tee shot from Stacey Lewis. Yeah, the most difficult part of this hole is the tee shot, and it is the #1 ranked most difficult hole today. But if you do hit tee shots like they have, the second shot should be straightforward. And now this is the 5th shot from Morgan Pressel.
Well, with her second shot from that lie, she hit the tree and it ricocheted to this point. 59 yards left to this whole location. Boy, Judy Morgan has just had an incredibly up and down day.
It's a little bit of what might have been.
Oh my gosh, yes, I couldn't agree more.
Go.
Give her a lot of credit though. She has come back from every adversity. And even hitting a shot like that, it would have been easy to completely drop her bundle.
Yeah, well, she's 2 shots clear of Michelle Wee. So Morgan Pressel's 3rd on her own. Michelle Wee's 4th. She's 2 shots clear of Michelle Wee. So if she holds that, it'd be a double bogey. So they'll be fighting it out between the 2 of them for that 3rd spot over the last few holes. This is the 40th playing of the Kraft Nabisco Championship, and we can go down to Rich Lerner right now.
All right, Phil, before it became a major championship in 1983, the Kraft Nabisco Championship had already earned another designation, well earned. It was known as the best party on tour. It was actually David Foster, the late great British war hero, who was also the head of Colgate-Palmolive, who convinced Dinah Shore to host this event. And then Dinah's pals from Hollywood all jumped into the mix, and what a good time it was through the years. Dinah used to entertain at what they called Dinner with Dinah. And the likes of Hal Linden, Barney Miller, part of the fun.
And I
hard to believe Jack Lemmon's been gone almost 10 years. Such a good actor. Days of Wine and Roses, Save the Tiger. This year, Kraft reviving the celebrity tradition. Ray Romano putting his Haney Project swing on display.
Yes.
Alice Cooper Loves Golf, 3 weeks ago inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well, Dennis Haysbert, been such an integral part of our telecast this week. We appreciate everything he's done. John O'Hurley, Jay Peterman from Seinfeld, and Cheech Marin. You know, he did not like golf at all. And then he took the the role in Tin Cup, and he has been hooked ever since. One other celebrity missing this week, and that is Dandy Don Meredith. You may remember him from Monday Night Football fame, along with Frank Gifford and Howard Cosell. He was great friends with Dinah Shore, and he was a big part of this tournament. He absolutely loved it, and his spirit, Dinah Shore's spirit, always felt every time we come back to Mission Hills Country Club. And let's go out to 16.
Yes, thanks, Rich. 3rd shot for Michelle Wee.
That was a pretty straightforward little pitch and run for Michelle. Yeah. Left it in a good spot just below the hole.
That was just a moment ago. And now we're live on the 16th green. Morgan Pressel has this one for a double bogey.
And as you said, Phil, this is going to be a tussle to the end between these two for third place. So every part vital. The green's starting to speed up quite a bit at the moment. The wind really gusting.
Morgan's not exactly the young girl she was when she won here at age 18. She's really become a mature young lady, and you see a lot of it in her golf game and the way she plays and the way she handles things.
Michelle Wee has this one for a par, and of course if she does roll this one in, she will then go into third position, one shot ahead of Morgan Pressel.
And not too difficult a putt. It's a little bit back uphill. Go just a little bit left to right. Might have been in this group. Phil, it's just incredible. So many opportunities.
Well, Angela Stanford, who's 5 under pars, all of a sudden she looks like she's going to be tied for third as well with these guys. If they carry on like this, she'll be third on her own. So Morgan Pressel's already had a triple bogey today on the 6th hole, and she's had a double bogey. This is for another triple. Oh.
This is called when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, I think the concentration has just completely disappeared. It's, you know, these major championships, to keep the concentration going the whole time, it's a long week, and it seems as though Morgan's just hasn't got anything left right now. The will's there, but concentration isn't.
I think the people back in the fairway watching, they have to know things aren't going well. It's taking a long time. But I really think these two are immersed in their personal battle.
Stacey can't even look, trying to keep her concentration going.
Michelle Wee has a good enough, a really pretty good short game. It all comes down to the putter. Plays a lot of good shots around the greens. She's a good bunker player.
Now back to the really important shot, second shot for Yanni San.
As Jane mentioned, the wind really starting to howl right now. 142 yards, going with 7 iron. Might have to keep that pretty low. She has that shot, hits it very confidently. That's the right club. She's going to love it. Obviously not the right club.
Just a little long, not a simple putt.
The green is slightly elevated, so it's never easy from where they're hitting the second shot to see where it's finished.
You definitely wait for the crowd reaction, and there was very little reaction for a shot that was just slightly off.
Exactly.
Stacey.
Stacey's at 129. Slight uphill lie. Aiming it a little right. Starting it there, turning it over. It's a shot she worked on all winter. She's not going to like this one.
Though she turned it over, I think she was fortunate it stopped very quickly. Hit it into the upslope. It is getting close. You can feel the pressure building. Stacey Lewis with a one-shot lead. This is the scene at the 16th green, the final group. Yanni San first to putt. She's currently one shot behind.
She called in Jason to take a quick look at it. He agreed with what she saw, so she's pretty sure of the line. That's the first part.
as though that ball had a mind of its own. Certainly when it started slowing down. Although it did take its time to slow down.
A little influence from the wind, I would imagine.
Stacey Lewis. It'd be a good time to hold the putt, I think, Jerry. If she does, she'll have a 2-shot lead with 2 to play.
At least she made one like this very early in the round. This is improbable to think you're going to make it, improbable to think she's trying to make it. But she can. She's hit a lot of putts on line and had the best speed control of anybody all week.
I suppose she did what she needed to do. Don't make any mistakes with Yanni Sand still having her putt from 8, 9, 10 feet to save par. She didn't want to race that one 3 or 4 feet by, especially after the putt she had on the previous hole, which didn't look all that encouraging in the circumstances. So Yanni Sand has this one to stay within 1 shot.
Speak to this better than me, but I just had a feeling it doesn't matter how many tournaments you won or what your world ranking is, you've got to feel a little pressure in this situation.
Oh, absolutely. And how many times have you heard somebody say the ball doesn't know anybody's name? This should be pretty straight if she can hit it firmly.
Right again. Every missed putt has been right.
Well, frustration from Yanni Sand, but I'm just wondering what Stacey Lewis is thinking right now.
Probably trying not to at the moment.
I'm sure the adrenaline has started flowing a lot more in the last 10 seconds. Yeah, she's getting her head down, trying to keep it together, keep the correct thoughts. So that's a bogey, a 3-putt for Yanni. Not a good time to do that.
Oh, please.
Two-shot lead for Stacey Lewis. 2 holes remaining. What an opportunity this is. Just got to keep the concentration going. This could be the beginning of something really big for Stacey. Let's go to 17.
Yeah, Morgan Pressel just coming up short of the green in that little dip, Jane.
Yeah, hit a 5-iron, got a gust of wind into it and really knocked it down. A little chip. Look at uphill and skip it up that ridge. Ah, beautifully done, well done. There's no give up in Morgan.
Playing pretty tricky today. 71 players have played the 17th. Only 4 have made a 2.
Just a moment ago, making that walk up at 18. 2009 champ, Brittany Lincecum. One of the Americans near the top of the leaderboard to start the day. Lincecum 4 over for her round and chance for birdie. Typical Sunday hole location. We'll see it in a couple of holes, Judy. Look how fast this comes down that slope. From an area where you really don't want to play on this.
Yeah, I was going to say, not the typical place that you would like to putt for birdie.
And the Eagle, that great hybrid to win it at 18 back in 2009. Not sure it's reachable today. It hasn't been yet.
Sure, we as birdie putt on the 17th.
Tom, this is very fast. The wind is helping it become a little faster as well.
Well, good news for Michelle Wee. She's not going to win the Kraft Nabisco Championship, and she has to be in class tomorrow morning at Stanford. Maybe when you go to Stanford, you enjoy going to class.
Oh, what a good try.
She's heading back for the spring quarter, something she hasn't done before. It started this week, so she's missed the first week of school. Going to miss a couple of weeks playing in Mobile in 3 weeks' time on the LPGA Tour. Going to play in Brazil and at the Sybase tournament as well. Up to 18.
And Lincecum has this left for par. Judy, we're situated up here right next to the green, right across the water from the green, and we've been watching the wind. It's really picked up in the last 15, 20 minutes. It makes this a 3-shot hole.
Yeah, back down towards the tee at 18. And I certainly haven't seen anyone take a go at the green today, and I don't really think it's possible.
Tee at 17, Stacey Lewis, 2 holes away from her first ever victory on the LPGA Tour.
Focused, fighting almost. No smiles, no nothing, just glaring to the ground and glaring at her shots. It's the beauty of the game, is that, Judy? It's really just a battle against yourself.
Yeah. There's really not, if you hit a pretty good shot, there's not a lot of trouble to get into on this par 3 unless you're a little bit long. It is a very, very difficult par if you knock it in the rough just over the green.
Well, the wind's picking up. She's going with 5-iron, which is more than enough club without the wind. That was a mishit. A little off the toe, hit it right.
She hit it right here yesterday, hit it almost in exactly the same spot.
I think this one hung up a little bit on the downslope.
Maybe a little opening for Yanni Sen.
Yeah, pitch at the bottom and just right on top. Just want to land it just right at the golf channel.
How far along the pitch?
If you kept it at the bottom, that's about 68. So you keep it for the wind. So keep it low and it's perfect.
Same shot as the
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Also 5-iron.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Riding it back just left of the hole.
That's okay. Certainly not the 2 best tee shots that we have seen on the 17th. Stacey Lewis. Nerves maybe beginning to show. So a tricky little bunker shot to come. She does have a 2-shot lead over this lady, Yanni Sen. 17th hole, Stacey Lewis bunkered off the tee. She had a great bunker shot on the 15th just a little while ago. We'll see what she can do on 17.
Very little chance of spinning.
No sand. It's all mud down there.
Again.
Yeah, she's saying there is no sand, and you try to sort of feel the depth of the sand as you grind your feet in a bunker. But you don't always get it exactly right. It wasn't a real poor shot, but just chases where she gets the downhill putt.
Now live with Yanni.
What a surprised she's putting this, Judy.
It's pretty thick right there.
Yes, it is. She must not have liked the lie.
Uphill, big break to the right.
That's going to get there.
Easy. Is it going to stay on the green? Well. And those trees look like they're beginning to rustle quite a bit, Jerry. The wind getting up?
Yeah, this hole's a little protected, but I know when they get over the hill going to the 18th hole, they're going to feel it.
Oh, it's not just the wind they're feeling at the moment.
I think Yanni started this day just feeling so very positive, and in such a good humor. I don't think she expected to get in the position that she's in now.
Yes, the trophy was sitting behind the first tee, and as she walked onto the tee, she grabbed the trophy and lifted it up in a jest, and the crowd cheered and laughed. The feeling at the moment is very, very different indeed.
I bet Stacey Lewis didn't laugh.
Stacey for a par.
If she hits at the correct speed, it's going to die to the left.
Start to die now, and in. What a three for Stacey Lewis.
I've always believed there is some sort of destiny in this golf thing.
Well, we haven't seen too much emotion on Stacey's face. That deserved a smile, and the eyes grow large. Only one more hole, Stacey.
You got this, Johnny.
Back into the zone. Well, this one just got a little bit longer, Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't make this. Stacey can just play 18 as conservatively as possible.
Look at Stacey Lewis, she can't even look.
In the hole.
No. So Yanni is going to tap that one in for a bogey, and it's back-to-back bogeys on 16 and 17. And Stacey Lewis will head to the 18th hole at the Kraft Nabisco Championship with a 3-shot lead. But the wind is getting up. Anything can happen on the 18th. That was the reaction to the par putt going in.
And for the first time, it looked like she was even bowled over. Wow, after that putt. Shell Weed's third at 18. Drove it in a bunker and had to lay up with the third, and the troubles continue for me. Although, I mean, you look at it, if there is a positive side to today, Lee, who is in third, will record a top 10 finish at a major for the first time since 2006. One more look at the putt at 17. Sheepishly looking up at her caddy, and yeah, stole one there.
I think there's a lot of heart in this girl, but I also think she's very shy.
So we got 105? At least.
As this wind is really picked up here in 18, makes this a rather difficult shot to judge.
Okay. Keep it left. Yep.
Shot at 105. We had it at 106, but we have to try and keep this a little low. She has done, starting at just left of the hole.
Go. Go.
Presso started the day 4 off the lead. A quadruple bogey, a triple,
I think so, a little bit.
a double, and 5 birds. I mean, it's a big if, but I mean, if she just makes par on those holes, she'd be tied for the lead.
I can assure you she knows that.
Yes, she does. Back.
Oh boy.
Final pairing, reaching the final hole. They've parted every single day. You got Stacy Lewis, who's 26 years old. No doubt came from the VCU Butler side of the bracket. You couldn't find many people who thought that she would have a 3-shot lead standing on the tee at 18.
Standing,
That's where she stands right now, looking for her first win.
please. Quiet.
Hardest wind of the week right now, going into and from the left. Right-handed professional's least favorite wind.
Only thing she could do wrong would be left, and that's water.
She trusted that one and let it go. Oh my. What a good tee shot.
Jerry, is there any way Yanni Sen can think about reaching a 2?
Yeah, she can think about it. I don't think it's going to happen, but she's got to try. She's got to take an aggressive swing at a driver here and hit it up the left and
Quiet,
hope
please. Hold still.
it gets some roll.
I'll tell you, Stacy Lewis said she gained a considerable amount of distance through the winter. We have seen it, and I bet it has surprised Yanni.
Can you let me up?
Because other than just 2 or 3 players on this tour, she is always the longest and the strongest, and Stacy Lewis has given her a run for every yard.
Solid tee shot, similar line to Stacy's, maybe a little right of it.
And just does get it by Stacy Lewis. I mean, Yanni Sen averaging 298 yards off the tee this week, 316 yards off yesterday, and Stacy Lewis has stayed right with her off the tee, and she's 3 ahead, looking for a major championship in the California desert here at 18. But we come back. Back at 18, getting ready for the second shots here. Jerry, what do they have?
Stacy has 215 front, 239 home. She could get it to 215 to the front edge easily, but she better not try.
Judy, no way she's going to think about that, right? Like a little wedge.
I can't believe she would. I can't believe Travis would let her. She just wants to hit something down there 110 yards from the green and make an easy 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're not even discussing it. We're just picking out a yardage.
Morgan Pressel up on the green. Michelle Lee.
Morgan Pressel has an opportunity for birdie here at 18. It's about 25 to 30 feet. And if she were to make this, it would take her to 5 under par and to 3rd place outright, because Michelle Wee's par chip did not go in. So an important putt for Morgan right now.
That would give new meaning to grinding.
Oh my goodness, Judy. It's been incredible out here to watch. This putt should go to her right. Huge gusts of wind right now. And fairly fast putt.
Somewhat rare occurrence as of late. 5 of the top 6 on the leaderboard are from the U.S., including this player here, Stacy Lewis, set to go for her second.
Did not hit a lot of club there. Maybe 150 yards up the left.
The key thing is in the short grass.
Hit a 155 shot.
And she has a 3-shot lead. Michelle Wee, remember the great splash in the first 3 years. Came out as a 13-year-old, played in the final group here at the Kraft Nabisco Championship. This, by the way, was for bogey. 7 top 10s in majors right out the gate. First 3 years. Hasn't had one since 2006. So step in the right direction. Currently in 3rd.
She was so upset when she saw the lie in the fairway bunker. It really put her behind the 8 ball here. Little right to left. But not that much.
So a disappointing finish to a disappointing day from Michelle Wie. 75 today. Had thoughts of being in contention first part of the day. Yanni Sen has laid up. So she hit her second. She's laying up, Judy.
Well, it would have really been a tough go, I think, into the wind, although doable.
Pressel to save par. And another gust.
I think Morgan Pressel, I think Yanni Sen have had just the wind knocked out of their sails. It is hard to keep your concentration. It's hard to do everything that you do well when you had such great expectations.
And both of them, no doubt, thankful this day is done. Weren't the best of friends when they were coming up. Morgan took exception to some of the things that Michelle was getting out here on tour.
She was a little outspoken as to some of the perks in their amateur days, but you know, they've been Solheim Cup teammates, and there is not one drop of bad blood. They are very good friends.
Russell sharing 3rd place with Angela Stanford and Katie Future with the best finish, not just at a major, but overall. They 3-way tie in 3rd place. Yeah. So both laying up here at 18, and Jerry, now it's up to Stacy Lewis. Comes down to this shot to fully secure it, perhaps.
Under 2 yards. They predicted wind all day. They started actually canceling flights tonight from the Palm Springs airport, the smaller planes, in anticipation of this. It is howling. Straight in from the left. This looks promising. It's enough.
Just barely, but no harm, no foul.
But gonna watch it till it truly does stop. The little area on the right, that's Poppy's Pond. That's where she'll end up. She'll close this out. 3rd for Sen.
85 yards.
Well done. And now a walk that Yanni Sen knows very well, but a much different emotion from last year to this year, and entirely different emotions between these two. Came from one back last year to win the Kraft Nabisco Championship, and today she had a 2-shot lead when the day began. Right now trailing by 3, making that walk across the bridge onto the green. And for Stacy Lewis, 26 years of age, from the Woodlands, Texas, went to the University of Arkansas. A short time ago, we heard from the women's golf coach at Arkansas, Shauna Estes-Taylor, that this is killing me. I've got to board a plane with the team and head back from a tournament. I can't watch anymore, but I'm right there. I'm sending birdies from the sky. And guess what? Stacy doesn't need any more birdies. So close in her first professional event at the U.S. Women's Open. Tie for 3rd back in 2008. Tie for 5th as an amateur here at the Kraft Nabisco Championship. In 07, the year Morgan Fessel won the title, and now going to win it and be the 4th to make her first win, a win here at the Kraft Nabisco. And that is the trophy that Yanni Sen held on to when the day began and gave a kiss and held up for the crowd. This for birdie, but not thinking that right now.
You can't make enough about how she has stood up to the challenge the last 2 days. A player that has not won on the LPGA Tour, a player that has had some struggles since she left college, and a player who has played alongside the #1 player in the world and probably most confident player in women's golf right now.
And what do you make of what Yanni Sen has done today?
It has surprised me to a degree, and I can tell by her face it has surprised her. I think she believed she would play a very good round of golf, and the only way someone would beat her would be to do something extraordinary. Maybe the wind was the wild card. It's hard to say.
Tap in for par, and that does it here on Sunday for Yanni Sen. The 2010 Chamberlain 74 today and finishes at 10 under. And so from the #1 player in the world to the 28th ranked player in the world, Stacy Lewis, getting set for that lead. They'll make it. Angela Stanford said yesterday, if I win tomorrow, I might just jump off the bridge into the water. I wonder how many times Stacy Lewis has thought about this one.
What a thrill to have a putt to win, and you don't even have to make it.
Stacy Lewis wins for the first time, and it's here at a major championship. And takes down the #1 player in the game. For 2 straight days they played together. And it's Lewis who comes out on top. And you don't have to wait for Poppy's Pond to be soaking wet. Champagne is flowing.
Thanks. Corey Webb is one of those players. There she is right there. And maybe she feels as though she helped her just a little bit.
Gotten advice from Corey Webb, had her game after Corey Webb. moving to Florida, Palm Beach Gardens at the earliest in July. Her dad Dale has been here all week, and her mother Carol has been a big part of her success. Let's send it over to Rich Lerner.
All right, Terry, thanks very much. Congratulations, Stacy. That was wonderful. How much more meaningful? We just saw you hug mom and dad, your sister's here. How much more meaningful is it to have mom and dad here, given what you endured physically as a child?
It's unbelievable. I can't even believe it. I felt like I was going to throw up all day, and it's awesome.
You made the putt at 17, and that pretty much ensured victory. And after you made it, you had your hands on your knees, your head was down. What was happening at that moment?
I couldn't believe I made it, and I knew I had a good shot at winning from there, but I'm just trying to control my emotions and stay calm.
Terry talked about it all day. Most of the world figured Yanni would do this because she's been so dominant. You thought otherwise. What did you find out about yourself today?
That I can play with the best in the world, and I knew I could hang with Yanni, and I did it, and still just can't believe it.
The tee-ball you hit at 9, the analysts thought that really typified the way you played this day. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I played great today. I hit the ball probably the best I played all week, and it was tough with the wind, but I just hung in there and made some key putts.
You thought about this jump over here?
I haven't, not at all. I don't even know what I'm going to do.
All right, go sign that card, make it official. Congratulations, Stacy.
Thank you. Thanks.
Stacy Lewis is the champion here at the Kraft Nabisco. What a performance.
69 today for Stacy Lewis and Judy. That's tied for low round of the day. So playing in the final pairing with Yanni Sen, starting 2 back, and then to go out there and fire a 69. Doesn't get much better.
Well, she faced all that, plus she faced a windy golf course that was probably as hard as it's been all week, other than firm greens when the heat was up.
Lewis, her first win. It's here at a major, the first major of the season in 2011. Picks up the check for some $300,000. The winning putt. You can finally breathe a sigh of relief. And very honest in her interview, too, talking about her nerves all day long. Come back to Rancho Mirage.